Hey everybody, what's going on? I figured I'd come on this morning. Hi Iris. And I'm gonna pull a general energy, but today, rarely enough, I am going to allow people to do paid for questions, which I rarely ever do, maybe a couple times a year. So this is your shot. What's good, Twanda? If you are looking for a question by me, okay, it'll be $11 for the yes or no one card extensive, and then $22 for a 3-card. Okay, but we're gonna pull a and the 3-card will be a mini read. Okay, so what's good, April? So let's start off with some general energy and things like that, and we will go from there, okay, and see what spirit wants us to know. Okay, we have intuitive whispers here. Spirit, thank you for the gifts, my love. Thank you. Can you show me what is it that the collective needs to know right now? What's good, Rach? What does the collective need to know right now? What's the collective need to know right now? Spirit, can you show me, please? Glasses. So we had the power of silence came out first. And your soul knows. At the bottom of the deck, intuitive journaling. So right now, right? The stillness that it takes to not be reactive. Okay? What's good, Sherm? The stillness that it takes to not be reactive, because the whole point, what's good, Project Execute, is that they want us to be reactive, because when you're reactive, you're not thinking clearly most of the time. And I feel like all our decisions right now need to be made in stillness. Okay? Right now, it's a fight, flight, or freeze. What's good, Virago? Right? And the best thing that we can do is like unplug a little bit and tap in to what your particular guides are telling you. Blessed Tuesday to you, my love. Right? Clarity is super important right now. And to be quite honest, you're not going to be getting a lot of accurate stuff, right? Because in the system in which we are, people capitalize off of people's, bad choices, right? So many people right now are feeling oppressed, suppressed, and may feel like they're Their options are limited, but I would like to say that our ancestors had even less options and fear, correct. And we have to recognize that the fact that we have options, the fact that we have, the internet and the ability to find information that maybe our ancestors didn't have, right? That in itself is a luxury, right? So create the stillness to find the information that you need for the answers instead of being just frozen. Okay? Because when we freeze, we leave the decision making to others. Spirit, can you show me a message from the ancestors? From the ancestors? Message from the ancestors. Message from the ancestors? Message from the ancestors. Mother of air comes out crossed with boundaries. Okay? And Huntress Soul Awakening is at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to read that card because Spirit said read it. Number 35. But I already feel like this has something to do with the lineage. What's good, Violet? Messages, feeling blocked, feeling like you can't hear, right? Take out some of the background noise. The reason why our ancestors were better at tapping in because there weren't so many outside interruptions. Okay, so we're going to read this because Spirit said to read it. Stay true to what feels right for you. Honor your boundaries. Approach with discernment. Speak your truth. Make decisions based on your assessment of the facts. Be honest, upfront, and direct. But be aware, even constructive criticism can be wielded like a weapon. When this blunt mama ancestor shows up, she wants you to be logical and unbiased with strong communication. The Mother of Air is a leader who brings wise crone energy. This matriarchal ancestor rules with an iron fist from the head and never from the heart. Her compassion is often underestimated at first glance. Ancestral memory. The Mother of Air appears as Lama Dama, an African Caribbean spirit, family gifted in intuition, oracles, and alchemy. She wields a broom as a wand. Oral history says that this ancestor was an enslaved woman who worked on the plantations in the Spanish-speaking Caribbean. Ancestral medicine. Are you suppressing your emotions? We all have those hard-edged queens in our lineage. You don't want to get on their bad side. Where can you use this wisdom in your life? Queen of Swords. I speak with clarity. Right? So what Spirit is bringing to the fore is that the precision and the detached element that the Queen of Swords relies on is about the inner truth that she already knows. This is not emotional decisions. Right now, we need to be making decisions that are not based on emotion, but on fact, on historical patterns. I'm trying to say something. You got to listen in between the lines. Historically speaking, we are better off securing our own methods of having power or of our like freedom or our destiny, and that we shouldn't leave our destinies in other individuals' hands because we're afraid or because we're frozen, when what is necessary is a sense of detachment so that we can make the hard decisions. Follow? What's good, name? All right, I'm going to read what was at the bottom of the deck too, and then we're going to move on. Okay, the Huntress, and that is number 20. The Soul Awakening. Cycles are ending so that you can be renewed. You are moving toward a new era and looking back at the lessons learned. This may be a season where you are analyzing your life. Signs and answers are being shown to you, but you must be willing to see them. You are in a period of sacred awakening. Continue self-reflection. The Huntress ancestors traditionally judge, jury, and executioner. She is all about accountability. This is a call to action. There is always a second chance. This is a time for reflection and reckoning. Ancestral memory. The Huntress comes forward as Buffalo Calf Road Woman, a Northern Cheyenne warrior woman. She bears the wings of Honorable Great Horned Owl. Ancestral medicine. Revelations are unfolding. This is a period of personal reckoning, pregnant with opportunity for renewal and rebirth. Okay, this is a reflection of the Judgment card. And the declaration is, I lovingly release the past and make way for the future. So although there may be a air of malevolence and maliciousness, if we can detach and use some of the opportunities that our ancestors did not have, that we can avail ourselves of now, then we actually have an opportunity to not only survive, but prevail, flourish. Okay, I hope that part was understood. I am taking personal questions if you want to do a paid for question. And if not, you can just listen to the overall message. Okay. Spirit, what deck? Okay. Let's see what else Spirit would like to tell me about what is transpiring now, what we need to be paying attention to, and the type of discernment that we should be availing ourselves of. Four baskets. Many of us may feel as if the choices before us are not appetizing. They may not have been what you thought was going to be on the agenda for 2025, right? Choices may be hard, and the long road could be looking kind of treacherous. But we're at a crossroad. Many of us have raised ourselves out of situations of great poverty, and that maybe all that we might have had was love, right? So you could come from like a big family, right? That could have loved hard. I didn't say good. We all got trauma, but could have loved hard, could have had not two nickels to rub together, right? And we've all found ways to support ourselves, to have certain type of lifestyle. We find ways to get to and fro places, right? What's good, Lady Artistry, right? We do all these things. We have been taught that we must pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. And we've made ways out of no ways. And in those conditions, especially our communities are some of the biggest purchasers or our money keeps the economy running, right? So how can we use that which we give to support other people's systems to in turn use that energy and frequency, currency, which are all the same thing? What's good, Mel, right? To in turn increase our own stability rather than the systems. And that's what's upon us right now. And so there's a need to shift the thinking. And that's why we need the stillness, because they hope that we're too much in dismay to shore up our individual situations. Let's take a look. Spirit, can you show me, please? 6 of coins. We're too entangled in a system that is busy withdrawing from us. How do we find ways to extract on our own behalf without necessarily being taught? If you notice, they didn't teach us that in school, right? They gave us cooking class or wood class, but they didn't give you a taxes class. That shit ain't an accident. What's good, Rose? You feel what I'm saying? At the bottom of the deck, right? The 2 of Cups. And, right, they had us, so many things have been employed to break down our family structures, our financial structures, right? And so, and no shade, right? But you go online and what do you see? Relationship goals, right? What are the relationship goals? I am not listen, I'm in a long-term relationship, so I'm not talking shit on relationships, right? But we're still trying to repair the family, let alone financial, right? And we may be like, well, we've bought houses or we've bought vehicles or we have good jobs, but it's also interwoven in the structure, right? The loans, right? All the money in the bank, the interest, right? I was explaining today, for instance, I had a friend of mine years ago when I first wanted to buy a house, and she was a real estate agent, and she was trying to teach me so I could have some literacy going into the purchasing process. And she was saying, like, you borrow, and this is way, so the formula could be slightly more expensive. Let me preface this, but she basically was saying you borrow 100 grand, that's at least $800 in mortgage for every 100 grand. That's without your interest. That's without the insurance. That's without the taxes. Okay, so just the base bones, right? But she also said if you purchase a house for a 30-year mortgage, that's $200,000. By the end term of the 30 years, you will have paid $400,000. You will have paid double, but it doesn't appear that way, but it is. Right? Why am I saying this? Because it's tied in to the system that we like. Okay, so we're not going to boycott certain things because we need those things for ourselves, right? So you're not going to jeopardize your investment in your home. Do you understand? Because even though that would, if everybody did it at the same time, everybody also could get put out. Do you see? So the system is kind of set up to extract, but not to give back. I've studied criminal justice and law for 20 years. I understand this message socially, economically, and systematically. Exactly, because the three pillars of that are built and interwoven to keep us from bucking the system. Now, the problem is that the current situation on the current climate, right? The rules of the system no longer fucking apply. Right? So now we have to shift, right? Just as our ancestors found themselves in a situation that those rules were not valid for them, we are in that situation now, and there is a rewriting, right, of the rules. So that also means that we have to adjust how we move within those. When I move, you move, just like that. When I move, you move, right? So now we have to change the way we traverse the situation, if that makes sense. Okay? And if you are not following me, please do follow. Okay? So let's get some clarity on what came out here. Okay, I'm going to leave that as the bottom deck cards. Okay, I'm going to get a deck to clarify, and then we're going to move on. Okay, so the first card that came out was the Six of Pentacles. I feel like the Six of Pentacles is, you know, it speaks of reciprocity, but I also get the feeling like you put your money in, they tell you, well, if you don't take anything out from this money, it'll be tax-free until the time you need to take it out. But then when you will have to take it out, so then what do most people do? They never take it out, and they try to leave it to somebody if they're even lucky enough to have that. Okay, so it's I'm gonna say something, and I need to say it in a way. The financial system is very much like the religious system, that we are sold to believe that later, or the afterlife, or like, don't use it now, don't ever use it, just have it there because you need it there for security. But what if the security is not really there? What's really there is what holds the glue of the system. I'm just trying to tell y'all in a roundabout way, right? What's that, Nancy? If you following what I'm putting down. So it's a way to make sure that you don't ever use it in that specific manner, and that you don't ever remove yourself from the system. What's good, Vanjie? And that you stay as a cog. Okay? You follow what I'm trying to say? So, Spirit, show me, what's the Six of Coins here for? What's this about? Can we get some clarity on this Six of Coins, please? What is this about, please? Got the Hangman at the bottom of the deck. What we need is a new perspective, because like I said, the rules, those ain't the rules no more. Right? And I was having a conversation with my mom this morning about, you know, subjects like this. And what happened was, as we were having these discussions, we kept finding ourselves going back to like the premise of the system as we knew it. But the reality is that that's not, you know, us counting on that might not be the move, right? Because all bets is off right now. What's good, McFly, right? So we have here Six of Coins coming out with the Knight of Pentacles. All my life I had to fight, and we pay into a system, and we hold it, and we figure one day, someday, right? And they use it, you know, well, if you just give it to us, we're going to keep it safe for you. And everybody will do that. And don't worry, when it comes your time, it'll be there. Right? High Priestess. Y'all, the stillness right here is talking about you better tap in to what will best help your particular situation. This is not financial advice. This is spiritual advice. Right? Are we following? What's good, Jennifer LaRoe, right? Because there was a time period, something like this happened in the 20s, and it didn't go how people thought it was going to go, and there wasn't no protections for them. And that's why certain protections were written in afterwards. But if the norms are being crashed, then what? Because we're still thinking that the system that we know, right? What's that, Spirit? And these truths are self-evident or something. It's like a speech. I'm kind of hearing it in the back, right? These truths, these inalienable truths, right? Yeah, the new world. Yep. New world order, right? So I'm just saying, right? The premise of what we thought were our inalienable freedoms or inalienable truths are not necessarily holding water right now. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't try to shore that up, but what I am saying is before we can do that as a whole, if you have any means of shoring your individual situation up, do that first. You know how they say in the airplane, put your mask on first? Well, that's what I'm talking about, okay? You have the 7 of baskets out here. Because the point right now is wow, thank you, Spirit. The point right now is the confusion, is the free space of the white noise that makes people feel like they shouldn't move, that they're waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? 7 of Cups, which way do I go? I don't know. Thank you for the quote. I knew I was hearing it. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Thank you. Okay. So the 7 of Cups is here, and we don't really know how to traverse this because we have not seen this in our lifetime, right? So then you have over here the 8 of Cups, so that when the system does do what it do, and they say, you know what, just come stand over here and we're going to help you. And then we say, yeah, that's what they told. We're going to go stand over here so they can help us. How's that worked out before? Whether here or anywhere else. I'm just saying. Right? There is some that believe that the overall plan is that we should own nothing and be happy. So if you worked so hard for your whole life, then how did that end up happening? You know what I'm saying? Right, Virago. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And we have to be very cautious about how we have these discussions, right? But there are, the person in charge right now, large and in charge, is a King of Swords. And, what came out for us in the Ancestor deck was the Queen of Swords. And talking about us, using our internal knowing, being detached from our emotions so we can make the highest, best possible choices for our own good, without the emotionality, because emotionality that's not part of this equation. So if you're basing it on emotionality or on, man, they be stuff I be wanting to say. They be stuff I be wanting to say, right? So for instance, there's a phrase, and I know I'm not going to get it right. But when you go, you can't take it with you. Yeah, the emotions is part of the control, right? When you go, you can't take it with you. Right? So they have us very invested in the tomorrow. And I'm not saying that tomorrow's not important. In our old system, it was wise so that you had something for later. But right now, if you have things that could be, I'm talking about tangible, real things. I'm not talking about your Gucci purse or, right? I'm talking about real shit, like your car that you need to get back and forth to work, your home, if you own it, right? Things like that, right? These are the things we need to shore up because they will have us believing that tomorrow is more important. And then you don't do nothing with it. Now the hammer falls on you, right? Now you don't have the capability to do nothing because the window closed. And then now, you know, when they say, come over here and stand on this line, you'll have no choice but to go stand on that fucking line. Am I making sense? This is second day Spirit got me out here talking about this shit. Right? Because, and I'm really trying. Let's say you have something that you kind of purchased, financed, borrowed, whatever, however you want to, whatever terminology. Yeah. Right. God is showing us the plan. Yeah. So that we can know what's up. Yep. Right. So let's say you have made a commitment to borrow something, to purchase something for yourself, as we were talking about the formula for mortgages, right? And so if a system takes a devastating hit and things are getting cut in half and slashed, and then also because of that constriction, people also lose their incomes, whether it's actual jobs that they work or benefits that they thought would be there. I ain't gonna hold you. If you're, I hope everybody's paying attention. Then when that is no longer there because you were worried about later, then they can be like, oh, that sucks to be you. However, Anna, Banna, I'm not doing free yeses or nos. And I hope you're not soliciting in here, my love. Okay? So it's a way for them to have the same people that's buddied up with them, you know, some of these big people, to make money on and capitalize on the destruction of a system too, because then they can be like, oh, you don't have it? That's terrible. If you could just move out of the way for somebody who does have it, and we will assist you over here on this line. Do you understand? Yeah, the focus on tomorrow creates the anxiety in today, aka the present, so we remain distracted. Right. Whereas if you not so much worry about tomorrow, because in this present situation, who knows what that holds anyway, right? And if you can shore up some of the things that could help you most, right? Then you take away some of that power in another area because you're not at the mercy. Now you might have to do other things, right? Now we also know that these things are going to kick in and everything's going to double up, right? So also think about that. Can you afford the regular expenses plus the double up? Okay. So right now, what's good, Afro Spiritual? I'm trying to talk to the people that have skin in the game. Right? Now you might think like, why is the message for them? Because you might be the only person in your family who got skin in the game, who got a roof, who got something that can even be shored up so that when the others in your line cannot, right? Because how you think they did it back in the day, back to the ancestors. We got the 6 of Cups out here. Spirit, why? With the 8 of Wands, look, I said back in the day, and the 6 of Cups back in the day, and the 8 of Wands. Spirit's like, hey, you're going to have to do some of the other plays, right? And the Page of Wands coming out crossed, right? All that frivolous shit that we thought was mandatory shit because we live in a universe where we keep up with the Joneses and, you know, we all want to have that important socioeconomic status symbol, whether that is a Gucci belt or the car of the year or the newest iPhone or being able to go to that Sunday brunch with your girls or going to the pool hall with your fellas every weekend that ends up spending all of your disposable. Listen, I'm going to give you a short clue. There's no disposable income right now. Right? The money that you're spending right now should either be on your necessities, on things that, are actually improving your quality of life. I'm going to give you an example. What's more important? Your Friday night hangout with the fellas or with the chicks, or your therapy session that's keeping your mind on target, because we have a lot of stress right now. Right? Or what's more important? Your Netflix and chill money, which you might have $200, that you're not even aware of, that is coming out in all these subscriptions, or your light bill. Just saying. Right? So all the things that we didn't worry about because we could that's why you bought the magnesium. Oh, thank you, my love. How is it? Did you get it yet? You picked it up already? The Page of Wands coming out crossed here, right? What we thought of like, just make more money, it'll come back to me, is now, you get it Friday, okay, is now like a bad idea, would be bad choices, ill-advised. So this is why Spirit's like, right? So back in the day, not that we would have had it, but even if we had it, would you have bought a new dress every Friday? No, right? You'd have been worried about making sure that you had enough. Now, we've been having that liberty. I'm just saying, it's time to come together right now, right? 2 of Knives, but they want us in fear. They want us frozen. You see, in her indecision It's very much giving Libra frequency. In her indecision, she's gouging her own eyes out. Look at that. Unable to make a choice. Do you see it? Spirit, why? Wow. So you got the Two of Knives. As I said, this is us, or this is the plan to make people feel powerless, to make them feel frozen in fear, to make them feel like there are no options, that they just have to shelter in place. Two of Pentacles. But Spirit says you do have options, but you have to recognize them and detach from the emotionality of what you consider to be short-sighted, or right? And then the Two of Swords again, right? So how many people will get frozen in fear and do nothing, right? And the ones that tap in and trust that, you know what, I'll manifest more later, just like we have with other things, as far as like, well, if I want to go out tonight, then I'll just, work next week, right? Well, maybe we need to pay off certain things that are tangible. What's good, me, myself, and I, so that we're ahead of the game, because if we do that, then we take the control of our outcomes, our destiny, time after time, right? Because as it is right now, we're just part of the cogs. Now, it's funny because what I saw there was the Empress with the Nine of Cups. And what's the next card here? The Nine of Cups. So let's clarify that. Spirit, why is the Nine of Cups out here? There's an opportunity I'm trying to say stuff. There's an opportunity to make decisions based on what would make you happier by using maybe things that could shore you up, that could give you opportunities instead of staying frozen, that will make you the emperor. Instead of the way it currently is, that those opportunities make somebody else the emperor. And then we stay with the, well, as long as it's there later. But that could be a deception. Opportunity in crisis, correct. Now, this may be, this opportunity in crisis may just be that you avail yourself of what you were going to use for tomorrow to take control today of particular things that would take you out of their payment wheel. And at the same time, that also, imagine if everybody did that. I hope y'all are understanding. Imagine if everybody was like, I ain't even worried about what's going to be there later. I'm just going to pay my shit off, my home now. And that way it's just out and outright mine. because that shit might not be there tomorrow. Then what would happen if everybody did that at the same time? Oh, somebody else would be in trouble. Am I making sense? Now, does that mean that you might have to pay some tax on that? Probably. But you know what? They were going to do that anyway. Whether it was today, tomorrow, or to the person you were going to leave it to. Do you understand what I'm saying? They was going to get it anyway. So you thinking like, yeah, but if I do that, then I got to do. Yeah, but you're going to do that now, tomorrow, 10 years from now. That's going to happen anyway. So when they tell you that because they know that you're not going to want to hear that. So you're going to be like, okay, no, I won't touch it. I promise. Leave it there. It'll grow. Makes sense. And then what's happening? It's growing for them. Yeah, you might get some growth, but it's really growing for them. I'm trying to tell you something right now. The Two of Cups was at the bottom of the deck. Let's see why. Because we're so worried still about trying to repair the family unit. In our family portrait, we could be so happy. We could be so normal. Let's go back to that. Look at the Queen of Cups in reverse. This is the card of the mother. You see? So keep us, emotionally unstable, feeling like, we don't have enough. We're not going to be good enough. We can't overpass those things that will always be held down, and the curses of our mothers and our fathers will be passed down because the fear they had to climb out from underneath the system. They were just told, if you just save for tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow, then maybe someday. Just trying to tell you. Okay? Right? Never mind that they said to the women before, well, if he's there, we won't help you. So the dilemma. And then young men who are going to need a different perspective. Okay, with that Hangman. And then, like I said, we're not taught how to do taxes, or right. We're taught to learn how to be a cog, but not to be the clockmaker. So that you could be, in charge of your destiny. I'm trying to tell you. Okay, why is this Eight of Cups here, Spirit? So you have the Eight of Cups here. The point was, back then was to leave us more vulnerable and pick us off, right? Have them leave the home, right? Whether it was in mass incarceration. I mean, there's a million ways, 60 ways to leave your love. I'm not gonna list them all. Y'all, you've heard this story, right? Nine of Pentacles. What they didn't count on was that, the feminine would find ways, and that we as a community would find other ways, right? We've always found ways to make a way out of no way, right? Trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, Spirit just said. And the Justice card is here. And we're always waiting for somebody else to, will it be fair? Are they ever going to be fair? Listen. We need the stillness and the detachment to think clearly about how we can store up our own tangibilities, things that are tangible to our survival for ourselves, if at all possible. Not worry so much about tomorrow, because they have us so worried about what happens if we touch our own shit that we're afraid to use it when we need it. I'm just saying. Is that making sense? Is that making sense? Okay. So, like I said, this is not, thank you for the follow, my love. This is not financial advice. This is advice, spiritual advice about empowerment and about reclaiming power and about not waiting for others to give us solutions, and to tap in and listen to how we can best serve ourselves. Could there be some prices to pay for the freedom? Yes, that has always been the case. Right? So again, I will repeat, what's more important, a bird in the hand or two in the bush? They have us very concerned about what's in the bush, what's down the road, when none of the structures that we are accustomed to may even be there. So what can you do for yourself now? And that's what Spirit wants us to concentrate on. Because if you were to do that, you might simultaneously be removing some of the grease that those cogs have been using to roll the fuck over us. You heard? If you let it process all the way through, you'll see what I'm saying. That particular energy, asset, whatever, can't be in two columns. Either it's in your column or it's in their column. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I just wanted to come in and give a word. If you have not followed me, I suggest you follow me. It's gonna be a lot of stuff like this, because Spirit said that right now there's people, and I understand people want to be distracted. You want to go on there, listen, I'm a Taurus. I love astrology. You want to hear about your sign and your love life, and you're welcome, my love, and all, but that's distractions right now. What can you do in the short term and maybe in the next 12 months to shore your situation up so that you can be in a better situation for control of your outcome than leaving it to obviously what you see as people who don't give two shits about you? And that in actuality, the pain is the point. So when you get that, then you will stop expecting for somebody to do right by you, because no one's coming. Understand? So now we need to tap into our ancestors and really listen good. Okay? That's what I have for you guys. I'm wishing you all light and love. Okay? Also, I would like to say there's going to be a paid for ritual on the 22nd, Earth Day. Okay? It's an abundance ritual. If you want to be part of that, you can go over to my website and join. Okay? Lovelee Soul Empress.com, and the link is in the bio on TikTok. And I don't think I put it up in the YouTube, but like I said, loveleesoulempress.com, the way that I spell it, okay? And you can book yourself for that ritual. It will be an abundance ritual. And with all the stuff that's happening right now, if we don't need something to go right with our money, all right, so holla at me if you're interested. All right, guys, I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Bye. Bye, guys.